host, Kevin Barrier, and welcome to 5Dubs Marketing Pros, where we highlight awesome brands and the stories behind them, and maybe just maybe geek out on all things marketing. All right, so let's dive in. So today, I promise you, we'll be geeking out as marketers typically do as we start to peel back the curtain on a pretty revolutionary approach to digital marketing. An approach where the power of AI intersects with creativity and human storytelling, in this case, using short form vertical videos on social media. We'll be talking about a platform that's not just a tool, but an accessible turnkey partner in creating narratives based on what consumers really want to know, making that information super valuable and wide reaching both inside and outside of your audience bubbles. Our guest today is the visionary behind this melding of technology and creativity that's really set a new standard in how we think about engagement and content creation in the age of AI. And in his spare time, he's built a social media following of millions as he shares free information on organic social media marketing and AI and marketing strategies that you can use in your marketing workflows immediately. I am super excited to introduce the CEO of Syllabi, Austin Armstrong. Austin, thanks for taking the time.
Kevin, thank you so much for having me on. That was such a nice intro. I appreciate you.
Awesome. And absolutely. I have to admit, I'm a fan. There may be a little fanboying throughout this. I've been following your work for quite some time. And you've been going on this meteoric ride that has no signs of slowing down. You're humble by nature, but I've seen this and it keeps ramping up and ramping up. And, you know, you've been very kind of public with how you approach what you do, and that makes it super accessible to its audience. So you've had a lot of milestones, like milestone after milestone of success within your timeline. So can you talk to us a little bit, for those that know you, and the few that may not, can you talk about your story from being a marketing agency owner wanting to promote your agency to now creating this streamlined marketing SaaS product that helps business owners do exactly that, like yourself?
Yeah, so I'm going to scale back a little bit more just to give people the full picture in case you don't know me. As you said, meteoric rise, right? Well, behind every meteoric rise or overnight, whatever, is many years of trial and error and failure and lessons learned along the way. So I've been doing social media marketing for about 19 years straight, professionally for about 10 years. So it took like 19 years for it all to like really click into place. Yeah, 5 years ago, I started my first business. So that is Socialty Pro. It's an organic focused digital marketing agency. We really started with mostly SEO, website design, and some video marketing, YouTube at the time. Right around that, maybe 6 months into that business, TikTok had really started to gain a lot of momentum. And I was also fired from my job at the time. So I was faced with that entrepreneurial decision, like, do I try and get another job in the middle of the pandemic? Or do I bet on myself, go all in and try and figure this out? I decided to bet on myself, which was the best decision I could have ever made. And strangely, I decided to go all in on TikTok to see if I could use that as a platform to generate leads and sales for my agency. And so I started talking about SEO strategies, which is what really had my first rise on social in the recent years, is talking about basically how to do SEO for yourself for free, just giving my best information away out there. That's always been a big philosophy of mine, is just give your best information away for free. They're going to know, like, and trust you more, and they're going to reach out for that hand holding in that specific process that applies to their unique use case. And I gained a large following on TikTok pretty quickly after going all in on that, hundreds of thousands of followers. And it took getting banned on TikTok for me to realize that you can't put all your eggs in one basket. And so I was having like I learned so much from my experiments and trials and errors with short form video, and it just sort of hit the market at the right time where YouTube Shorts rolled out, and then Instagram Reels and Facebook Reels, and every major platform now for the past 4 years has been exponentially pushing short form video because they've invested billions into it, and they're trying to figure out how to monetize it on their own platforms as well. And so that really just led me to figure out the nuances of all of these individual platforms, how to grow with YouTube Shorts, how to grow Instagram Reels, how to grow on Facebook. And I've been very fortunate to have figured out these platforms. So I have now, because my TikTok got banned, I'm about 2.4 million followers across the board, was about a little over 3 million. And social media has changed my whole life from being 14 years old up to this point. This is my path. This is what I'm good at. This is what I love and I'm passionate about every single day. This is what I love talking about and helping other people with. And so my whole mission now is to just help people with the tips, tools, and strategies so that it can change their life as well if they're willing to take action. And so that's where the idea of Syllabi really came to be is just all of these processes and everything that I've learned, the embodiment into a software.
So, so syllabi is such, in my opinion, a revolutionary tool because it is very strategically AI driven, based on real experiences that you have you've tested and you've experimented with your own business. Tell us a little about Syllabi, which is and real quick the plug syllabi.io is where you can find
Yeah.
it.
Well, yeah, thank you so much. And so like one of the main things is there's a lot of content creation AI tools out there, and there's a lot of video content creation tools out there. But what makes Syllabi different is that it's based on my proven repeatable process that has gotten 20 plus clients over the last couple of years, over 1 billion views organically on social media. And it's also basically a dumbed down version of what an agency does. And so what a business owner is struggling with or knows that they need is they know they need to create content on social media, but they're often lost because they are an expert at what they do. They have to focus on their business. They might not know the topics to create content on, what to say on camera so that it actually works and resonates. They need help staying consistent and accountable. Maybe they don't like being on camera and they don't have the budget or the funds to hire an agency. And a lot of people have bad experiences with agencies as well. They get burned. They don't get the results that they want after spending thousands of dollars. Maybe they don't have the funds to hire internal marketing team or a dedicated social media person, but they still need to do all of this. And so we've really streamlined and answered all of those problems. So what Syllabi does is it starts by showing you the top questions and trending topics in your industry around the services that you offer. So if you're a lawyer, you can type in, motorcycle accident, and it'll show you a list of all of the questions with data behind it around like how much can I sue for in a motorcycle accident? Who's responsible for a motorcycle accident? How much time do I have before I can settle for a motorcycle? All of these questions with data behind it, so you can make an educated decision on what content to create. And then with a click of a button, it'll generate a video script for you that you have full control over, so it fits the tone of your brand and length of that video script. You can then create videos very quickly, whether you want to record that script or you want to have a talking photo if you don't like being on camera. So we have basically talking headshots that animates the face. We have about 32 built-in AI avatars that are essentially deep fakes, human realistic avatars. As soon as next week, so depending on when this episode drops, we're actually rolling out the ability to create a real clone deep fake of yourself, so you can create content at scale with your own avatar that looks and sounds like you. And then we just rolled out a custom video editor as well. So you can edit the video however you want, make it perfect for your branding, add transitions and movement and everything. And then you can schedule it across all of your platforms as well. So we've integrated it with all the major social media platforms. So we have a content calendar built in, and you can schedule or publish it directly to all of your platforms. So it's really a workflow tool. It's a step A to step Z process, so that the business owner can focus more on doing what they love. The content creator can focus more on on spending time with their family, their loved ones, and having a trusted process and tool in your back pocket to make predictable social media content easy.
Yeah, and so as you talk about, because it any good piece of marketing starts with the content idea, right? So the kind of trending questions, you mentioned the example of a lawyer for a motorcycle accident. It provides, here are trending questions or stuff that consumers to want to know around that category. Where is it pulling from, like trending questions on search engines?
Yep.
Or yeah, which is perfect,
Yeah.
because I mean there are so many content creation tools that say we're going to give you exactly what we know, looking from the inside out, what your consumer wants to know, whereas you're looking from the outside in and using real world data. That's what
Yep.
I have always found sets you apart. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, absolutely. So as of this recording right now, and we're enhancing this as well. I'll talk about some sneak peeks of what we're doing. Right now, it pulls from active Google search data. So it's like an SEO keyword research tool, depending on the how advanced of a marketer you are that's listening to this. It's very similar to an SEO keyword research tool. Ahrefs, SEMrush, Ubersuggest, one of the many out there. We are drastically enhancing that with data from every platform. So it's not just Google search data. We're pulling in Google Trends. We're pulling in YouTube search data. We're pulling in TikTok data, Instagram data, social media data across the board. We're also going to be pulling in from Quora as well, a Q&A platform, to give you a much wider spread across the internet of what your customers are actually searching for. And this is real time, up to date data as well. Another thing that's very different about us than some of the other tools out there. There's amazing AI tools, but I found that first component is really missing from pretty much all of them. Like you can go in and say, make me a video on this topic, but that still doesn't address the problem of how many people are looking for that topic. Is that a topic that's actually going to translate into leads and sales for your business? What is the data on it? How trending is it? Is it on an upward trend? Is it on a downward trend? So that beginning part has been such a key missing component of every AI tool out there that supports content creation on social media. One of the major things that sets us apart.
That's incredible. That's and I agree. I've been able and fortunate enough to, try out lots of SaaS products, some of which, claim AI is used, some claim it's not. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? And in my experiences with Syllabi, it's I used it as a test for a mortgage lender,
Oh,
and
perfect
brought
industry.
yeah, and it brought through a lot of first time home buyer, which makes total sense, right? First time home buyers are going to search to try to inform themselves on the home buying process. And as you look at what Syllabi was providing versus what Google was saying were trending questions, for example, and this is just Google. I had no idea that it was pulling from trending social media platforms. But it was exactly the right information. So that meat and potatoes side of it is I think really where one of the areas where Syllabi's strength lies. And it's a perfect segue, because you mentioned earlier that you've always appreciated and found it important to share your information and your knowledge with your followers. And I can verify you do. I mean, you share a ton of information on just all of your social channels, about organic social media marketing tips, or AI and marketing. And you came up with a top 5 websites theme, that's where I actually got hooked in. So that was the perfect lead magnet for me.
Yeah.
It's that you stumbled across a reel, or I stumbled across a reel, and the information that you provided, because I love me some AI, so I was interested, and I got really hooked. Talk to me a little bit on the top five
Yeah.
side of things, the top five websites. Tell me about kind of where that came from and what the strategy was behind that.
Yeah. So I basically, as soon as I started creating content on TikTok, I was sharing useful websites because I'm a nerd about, and I test a million different websites all the time. Uh, and it sort of was a top of the funnel oriented thing. So the original idea was, how can I create content that reaches the most amount of people to bring them into my ecosystem, that they are still relevant for my needs as an agency owner. And so, like, a lot of the websites that I share are really only applicable to a business owner or an entrepreneur or a content creator. Occasional outlier, of course, but most of the time they're all marketing oriented or business oriented, productivity related, et cetera. There, and so those videos perform well. And I study everything. I study content creators in different niches, in different industries that have nothing to do with my business, but to notice the cadence of those platforms and the style of videos that perform well. And so, one of the things that I just came across is that there's a very, I think that a great TikTok creator, Erica Kullberg. I think she's an attorney or a lawyer or has her law degree or something like that. Really popularized the style of sort of talking to yourself in different outfits, but communicating really helpful information from expert to student, or viewer is the person that's gaining that information. And this was a style that was widely popular, uh, and did millions, tens of millions of views consistently, but nobody was doing it for useful websites. And so I took a style of content that I was creating with a very popular, proven winning style, and meshed them together to create something fresh, new, educational, relatable, uh, that was a perfect winning combo. And so that is a series that has worked extremely well for me. And to break it down even more, it's kind of from a view duration perspective as well. So one of the most important factors is watch time if you want to grow with short form video. And how do you increase watch time is by increasingly keeping them on the hook for more information, rehooking them throughout. And so that top five is basically the perfect psychological way to do that over and over again, rather than going super deep on any one topic. Because if you're just a talking head, talking straight to the camera on one particular topic and going deep, it can get a little boring at times, depending on how you're doing it. And you either are like, you're all in on this one topic, or you're not interested anymore. You get the gist of it, whatever. But the top five always alludes to something else. It always is, there's something more. I go very clickbaity with it. Like, these five websites feel illegal to know. Well, what are the websites? Are they actually illegal? No, of course not. And so I have this corny sort of banter back and forth, and I share useful, here's a useful web. If you go to this URL, it does X, Y, and Z. Here's benefit one, benefit two, benefit three. And then I, rehook them with another website. And it's just sort of dopamine hits over and over and over again, and rehooking, which increases the view duration. And because the information is so valuable in it, it increases the engagement. And it's just a viral format that I've been doing this for like I've been doing that style for like almost 3 years now, and it hasn't slowed down. It's still picking up even more and more. It's great. It's just a winning formula.
Yeah, and it's interesting you brought the psychology behind it, because one thing, it's like these little Easter eggs that you put in. I love them.
Yeah.
People look out for them now.
Yeah.
Funny bookmarks. On
Yeah.
your on your browser, or maybe spelling a word wrong on purpose.
Mhm.
Those are very when you what I really love, I love it, is like you experiment publicly.
Oh yeah.
You're putting out content that may be polarizing. You may spell a word wrong and people will comment on, I think you meant this. And you'll chime in at one point and you're like, case in point, checkmate. Talk to me a little bit about, some of those tips that you have found effective in increasing engagement, or gaining a laugh. There's been a few really funny bookmarks at the top of your browser that I've chuckled at. Tell me a little bit about the psychology behind that.
Yeah. And so, there's people don't like when you point it out to them. I'll get into that in a second, but it's funny. People are okay being subconsciously manipulated with marketing and psychology, but as soon as you tell them that that's what you're doing, they don't like it. It doesn't change the fact that it works. So I sort of just came to the conclusion that all of these social media platforms don't care if the engagement is positive or negative. They just want more engagement. That's the entire purpose of these platforms, is to get you psychologically addicted to them by engaging with more, getting you to elicit an emotional response, to spend more time on the platform so that you can get served more ads, right? That's the entire business model of all of these platforms. And so it's easier to get negative engagement than it is to get positive engagement. And think about this for a moment. We go to a restaurant, we have a decent enough service experience, you get your haircut, whatever. We expect positive. So if it meets your expectations, and it's good enough, you're not. Most people don't go out of their way to write 5-star reviews, right? Maybe if the service is exceptional, they went above and beyond, there's something about that experience that stood out, right? Then maybe you do it. But it is harder to get that positive review than it is the first time that there's a hair in your food, the first time that there's a rude waiter, they refuse to take an item off. They made you wait 20 minutes longer than your reservation, right? People are so quick to leave that negative feedback. And the same exact thing is the case on social media, because that psychology translates over perfectly. People love to be internet trolls because they can hide behind their keyboard. People love to be grammar police and correct your pronunciation, your spelling. They love to point out flaws. This is the nature of the internet, right? You have a flaw on your face. You have a speech impediment. You slur a word. You leave something unassuming in your browser window. They are so quick to make fun of you. Well, guess what? I know that extra engagement pushes my content to reach more people. And so now I do it on purpose in a lot of different ways, because I know that every single time it works. So I will like you were saying, I mispronounce words on purpose. I will plant little Easter egg folders below my content. Like, right, I've got on this browser one that says rain is fake. So I'll show a URL, and sometimes it gets a little bit more PG-13 than that. But below, yeah, I'll show a useful website. I'll hold my camera up to the screen, and right below it is an unassuming folder that says something pretty suspicious or trending. Like in my Google Chrome, I have Diddy's secret files, like Puff Daddy, P Diddy is going through some dark stuff right now. It's pretty sketchy, right? And so it's top of everybody's mind. So like I will even go to Google Trends and see like what celebrity is trending online or in America or whatever, and I will plant a folder specific to that trending person or politician so that it's trending even more. It's even more top of mind. And so they will always, run to the comments. A lot of people, like you said, like it becomes an Easter egg, a recurring Easter egg. You don't have to get uh, if you're a teacher, like you're a professional, you have a set voice of the brand that you're not allowed to violate. I get that, right? I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a personal brand. I can have self-deprecating humor, and I am fine with that as as a human. I am thick-skinned. I don't care. I troll the trolls, but I understand. So the concept here is to think about how you can apply little psychological Easter eggs in your content to increase the engagement. This will increase your view duration because when people see something or they want to, assert themselves, correct you, they will run to the comments to talk about it, which causes comment response strings. But your video is also replaying in the background as well, racking up additional watch time. But yeah, I talk about these concepts and strategies all the time, and yeah, people hate that you pointed out. I will do a post at, like the other day, I was like, the easiest marketing tactic to increase your engagement, and I spelled tactic wrong, is to make a purposeful error, and then everybody runs to the comments and says you spelled tactic wrong, and it's like facepalm, like you don't even understand what's happening. Like I'm literally telling you that I'm manipulating you as I'm manipulating you, and you're proving my point in real time.
It's
People don't like it though.
it's brilliant. And well, and in and of itself, as I watch, for the Wii's of the world, like I see what you're doing there, and so I smile every time you do it. But then there'll be conversations you'll have, one side saying, case in point, and then you'll have the other side saying like this is spelled wrong. It's absolutely brilliant the way that the way that you approach social media in that way, and all of the information that you've given away. I mean, you've put basically. I mean, people have seen you as you've cracked the code in organic viral social media. I agree. I'm in awe to see how you've grown. I mean, let's take a look, shall we? So on Facebook, you are just shy of 1 million followers, sir.
Very close.
That's
Very
going
close.
to that's going to turn the that's going to turn over the odometer here in a what that'll probably take a week or two, right, for you. So you're at
Maybe. Yeah.
982,000 on Facebook. You're at 645,000 on Instagram, and you just cracked the 500,000 not long ago. I mean, you are, YouTube, Social T Pro, you're at 589,000. I mean, it's absolutely obvious that you know what you're doing. You understand how these social platforms work and how to leverage them with great content to grow your audience, and so much so that you've given your playbook out on social media. This is exactly what I've done to grow my social media following. Here, have it for free. I mean, people would pay tons of money for that. But in the interest that you made it public, would you share maybe a kind of an abbreviated version of if I'm a business owner looking to get on social media and grow my audience, and my brand isn't really maybe confined to having to have this more vanilla voice or kind of conservative ether around it, a brand like yours, how what does a business owner need to know in terms of how to grow their audience like you have?
So I want to start by saying the biggest pushback that I get when I talk about these psychological, purposeful errors and mistakes is that, yeah, but that's going to damage your brand and it's not going to translate to sales. And the same thing is negative feedback for when you say giving your best information away for free doesn't translate to leads and sales. Quite the opposite on both. Now, the nuance with the purposeful errors is that the information in your videos actually needs to be incredibly helpful. So it's like putting fuel on the fire of helpful content. Your content is still helping people, right?
Yeah,
My
it's like it
video,
needs to be forgivable, right? Like
yeah,
the
right.
yeah, yep.
Yeah, exactly. Like the information is still incredibly valuable. By giving away your best information for free, You build, people know you, they like you, they trust you because you're not asking for anything in return. Again, psychologically here, the law of reciprocity kicks in. By giving incredible information, they feel the need to reciprocate in some way. This is also a concept. I'm a big Gary Vee fan. Jab, 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 right hook. Give, 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 ask. If you just give amazing information, when it comes time to sell something, they're like, oh my gosh, you gave me so much valuable information. Take my money. Do this thing. Um, or they want it specific for their use case. So like in my case with the agency and stuff, like here's how, here's a drug and alcohol treatment center case study, right? Like here's how we took this website from this brand new website from like getting 50 visits per month from Google to 30,000 websites per month. Or we grew their YouTube channel to 30,000 subscribers. And here's the exact strategy of how I did it. Blah, 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 step by step through, right? The reality is that they don't have the nuance to do it themselves. They don't have the time to do it themselves. They want their hand held because they have trouble staying consistent along the way. Maybe they're okay doing it, but they don't have the video editor. They don't know what they don't know. They think there's more. A lot of times, like, no, I literally give everybody, like, anybody can do what I've done if you just copy as I do, like literally do it yourself, but you got to do it yourself. That's the problem. The other thing is that for business owners, like, social media are search engines, and a lot of people don't consider it that way. YouTube has been the second most popular search engine in the world for a decade. TikTok is a search engine. TikTok is the primary search engine for Gen Z. I use TikTok as a search engine now. It's just a better experience than the outdated Google because you get a consolidated, specific information that's visual based, so you can see the experience. Instagram is a search engine. And so that's the whole process, kind of going back into syllabi as well, is like find the topics that are evergreen, that are relatable to your target audience, give incredible free value, don't expect anything in return. They know how to click that link in your bio. People aren't stupid, right? They're on these platforms. We've been on these platforms for years. They know how to get your information if they want more from you. So all you need to do is build trust and rapport on social media. Social is a two-way street. It's a conversation. So if you're creating content that helps that person, they are going to reach out. Maybe they click the link in your bio and fill out a form. Maybe they slide into your DMs and send you a message to get the next steps. I use a lot of automation. So like I use ManyChat on Instagram. Maybe they leave a trigger comment word where then I automatically send them a clickable link in their DMs or messages to sign up for a product or service. But it created that engagement before it. And consistency over time. Like I have personally posted over 3,000 videos myself, probably closer to about 10,000 videos or more for all of our clients combined. It's just that reps over and over and paying attention to the little nuances. And it like my set, like you don't need to overcomplicate things either. All of my content that I create, even today, is on my phone. I have a $15 ring light here. I don't even set my phone up on a tripod. I set it up on my laptop screen. But I reach 30 million people every month because of those concepts. Every day I am creating an incredibly valuable piece of content for free that you can do anything that you want with it. You don't have to contact me. Take that information. If it helps you, you are going to associate that with me. Even if you did it yourself, that's also rewarding to me. If you grow your business, change your life because you saw my videos and took action on them, that is also rewarding to me. That is awesome. And the other thing is they're going to tell other people, go follow Austin or go hire Austin because I watched his videos and I took action on it and my life changed. Do the same for you. And that's the network effect. It's not, yeah, it's not rocket science. It's just creating helpful content for real people.
And you, so, and it's interesting because one thing I want to thank you for is you always make yourself very accessible to your audience. You are one of the few that do respond in comments, and you can tell the response, or it seems as if it's you. I'm pretty sure it's you.
It
You know,
is.
and yeah, I mean, you take that time to do that, and that resonates. You mentioned consistency, right?
Mm.
So a kind of a it's a hot button, not a hot button topic. It's a widely debated question on how often you should post on social media. Now, when you break it down, you have in feed versus reels versus stories, right? Each can have like different strategies. But what from Austin Armstrong, what is, is there a too much? If the information that you're giving is sought after and great, like how much is too much, if any, to post on social?
Yeah, I don't think there's. For me, there's no such thing as too much. I'll post, like, Facebook has been my main platform because I get the most engagement and growth on there, and so I post 6 to 10 times a day of various content types. It's like 2 videos, text posts, some stories, or I'll share stuff to stories, image posts, whatever. Um, Consistency looks different for everybody. Uh, there is no right answer. You don't have to post like I post. You probably shouldn't post like how I post. That's just kind of how my brand has become. But whatever consistency looks like to you, stick with that and improve over time. If you can do one video per day, Monday through Friday, that's great. I mean, that's what we do with, like, on my agency side. That's what we do for every client. We publish one short form video every single day, Monday through Friday. Take the weekends off, and that will grow your account significantly. Um, if it, in general, I'm in favor of sprinting at the beginning to figure out what works, and then you can slow down. So if you just don't know what works for you off the bat, you're just getting started, whatever, uh, go faster, try more content until you figure out what type of content is working the best, and then just double down on that, and you can slow down and get back into things.
So you mentioned as we start kind of ramping down, you mentioned a lot on, or you have mentioned, I should say, a lot on your social media, like ChatGPT versus Gemini. And I got caught in it. And here's my public apology to you, sir, because there was like one day you're like ChatGPT is going to change the world, and then like it was right before Google put out something on Gemini, and you're like, if you thought ChatGPT was great, check this out, and I'm like, but you just said ChatGPT, but what's great is, for those that follow you on your social channels, I mean, this information that you're giving is so incredibly up to date, and it's realizing it's okay. Like, based on new information, opinions will change. So talk to me a little bit
Yeah.
about, like, so which one? Which one do you think? Do you think ChatGPT, or you think Gemini is gonna, or maybe another that I'm not even aware of? Which one do you think is gonna kind of bubble to the top in time?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Like, I still find myself using ChatGPT the most, because I think they just did such a great job of getting us used to the platform. And they were the first to market. They're continuing to innovate and upgrade. I think Gemini has a lot of amazing potential because it's kind of updating and learning in real time. Claude is phenomenal as well. Claude is by Anthropic, another large LLM. Those are kind of the big three right now. It depends what your use case is. Like, even Meta has Llama, their own model, which they're integrating into wearables. Like, Llama is built into the AI Meta glasses. Um, there's a great search engine called Perplexity that runs off of multiple LLM models, and I think is a fantastic tool. It's a much better experience than Google, even with Google and Gemini. I think Perplexity it could be a real threat or, gain a lot of traction. Um, I think yeah, it's hard to predict because everything moves so fast, right? Like like with GPT has had plugins for over a year, and they just rolled out the GPT store a couple months ago, and the GPT store is ramping up like crazy right now. Um, I think with the integrations, it's the smarter play, which will empower OpenAI and ChatGPT more in the long run.
Yeah, it feels like open source versus kind of closed,
Yeah, yeah.
depending, and with all of these different platforms that you've used, you've created a website. Yeah, I mean, so
Mm,
you have syllabi, you have Socialty Pro, but you've also created this just resource
mm.
um, that that users can go to see what different AI AI products are out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can search as like free as paid. Where
Mm-hmm.
can people go to get that?
Yeah, that's called fastpedia.io. We've got about 900 AI tools and websites indexed on there currently. Yeah, you can sort it by completely free, freemium, free trial, paid only. We have detailed descriptions, pros, cons, use cases on each tool. We're creating videos for each tool as well on there. If you're an AI tool content creator or developer creator, you can actually you can add your own tools on there. It's free to add your own tools, but you can pay to sponsor them on that website as well. And yeah, we're constantly adding new tools on to Fastpedia. It's just been a fun project.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I always ask everyone, every entrepreneur, as you're on your journey, successes, failures, right? You mentioned at the
Mm,
beginning that meteoric ride in the beginning was a lot of you know foot marching, on the
mm-hmm.
ground to gain
Yeah.
traction. What's one thing that you would share with a business owner, a lesson learned, or maybe something you would have done differently now having the benefit of hindsight? What's something that you can share with that business owner to get them a little further ahead than maybe where they are based on your experience?
Well, just never stop, no matter how frustrating it can be, how little traction you get. Like, it's okay to pivot, it's okay to take breaks, it's okay to continue learning, right? But just never stop. That momentum is really key. Um, I think I would be even further along if I didn't take. So, like, when I was 14, 15, 16 on MySpace, growing on social media, I had a lot of early traction in life. And then there was like a 4 or 5 year gap between when I started professionally, again, like working in the agency space. I think if I, and partially it was just so early. Like, I don't think I realized as a 17, like 18, 19, 20, 21 year old that like this is your career path. Like, this is what you can do very successfully if you just never stop. Um, and maybe I shouldn't have, right? Like, I don't think I really should have or would have done anything differently because I'm quite happy with the position that I'm at now in life. But just in retrospect, consistency has been the most important factor in my life for success and growth. And there's so many experiments along the way that compound. You pull a piece of information from this, a piece of information for that. Combine things. Um, yeah, just never stop. I mean, when you start creating content for whatever, if you're a business owner, you just want to be a content creator, you just want to make social media videos and get paid for them so that you can live your best life, travel the world, whatever you want to do. Um, this is a new thing that you do, like brushing your teeth, going to the gym, eating 2 to 3 meals a day, or however you create content now. This is a part of your life. If you've got to want it and you've got to stay consistent with it.
And in the in the younger days, you were, am I correct in saying you were a mixed martial artist? Am I right in
Mm-hmm.
saying that? I've seen that.
Yep.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell
I
go ahead.
still train. Yeah. I've been training Muay Thai for, gosh, 14 years, 18, 14 years I've been training Muay Thai, kickboxing. Yeah, I was an amateur fighter.
And I think a lot of those same like rules of consistency, right,
Yeah.
apply. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot you can learn within the, world of martial arts that you can apply to everyday life. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well,
Mm-hmm.
as we're winding down and our chat's coming to a close, I know you are a busy man. Tell everyone, tell all of our viewers, let our listeners know where they can find you. I mean, obviously
Mm-hmm.
you're on virtually every social channel, right? So, but tell them how they can find you.
Yeah, well, my name's Austin Armstrong. You can follow me across the board at Socialty Pro is typically my handle. If you wanted to check out Syllabi, it's syllaby.io. And I'm very easy to get a hold of. Just connect with me, leave a comment, shoot me a message. I'm pretty active and responsive.
You definitely are more than the average bear, and we'll make sure that all of your social channels and Syllabi's website are in our show notes. Well, very
Thank you
cool,
so
Austin.
much.
Thank you. I can't imagine the amount of plates you have spinning, and to be able to take the time to talk to you, it's been just an honor for me. So I really appreciate that. Austin is a marketer that I definitely look up to, and I have learned a lot from. So if you have any interest in how to navigate the world of social media, definitely follow Austin on all of his channels. You will not regret it.
Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate the opportunity.
You got it. Oh, that will do it for today. Austin, thank you so much for taking the time. And until next time. Five Dubs Marketing Pros is hosted by me, Kevin Barrier. Our executive producer is MDDC Executive Director Rebecca Snyder. Post-production by Caroline Pecora. Our theme music is by Azulu Studio. A special thank you to our guests for being with us. You can find Five Dubs and Five Dubs Marketing Pros on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts.